Hi, Billy. And hi, everybody. Welcome to Take Your Medicine. Yay! Take Your Medicine, Billy. What is this? This is a show where Billy and I share our love and our essence and our medicine with the world. Can you lay down and chill? She's very excited today. It's been a few days since I have recorded. This is the first episode I am making this week. It's been a busy week with car problems, but I finally got my car back, and that was exciting. And honestly, I've just been feeling really heavy this week and didn't really feel like recording. So I didn't, because I do what I want, Billy. But it did actually make me kind of want to be able to record even when I'm struggling or feeling heavy. I think it's really important to show up and be real even when I'm feeling raw and vulnerable, but I didn't get myself to do it this week, and I forgive myself for that. Okay, you're a lot and I love you. Can you lay down? Lay down. All right, what's today, Billy? It's our 15th episode. Yay, Billy. We're really doing it. I'm so proud of you, Billy, for showing up with me. Not that you have a lot of choice. Can you please lay down? Lay down. You're stepping on my notes. Thank you. Lay down. I know it's so hard to behave. I know, so hard. 15th episode, super grateful. Grateful to Billy, grateful to life, grateful to all of you who have watched and supported me and sent me messages of encouragement. It means the world. This has been very vulnerable, and we're about to get even more vulnerable today. We're going to talk about some things that totally freak me out, but I'm here for it because I want to really be an inspiration to other people and being as authentic and real in their lives as they can be. So I'm going to get out of my comfort zone even a little bit more today, and I hope it's beneficial. At least it will be beneficial to me. I know that. So I'll take it. Yeah, like I said, I've been feeling very heavy lately with grief. I experienced a very big loss in my life, and it hasn't been 6 months yet. We're coming up on 6 months on April 2nd. So every day is different in this grief cycle, and I'm not sure. I think it's just totally different for everybody, but this has been just a heavy week. I don't know if it's the eclipse. I have a really good friend. I've mentioned her on the show before. Her name is Rochelle, and she's an astrologer, and she's absolutely magnificent. Her Instagram handle is at astrology with Rochelle, and she's fantastic. If you ever want a reading, she does them over Zoom, and she's amazing. Her reading to me changed my life. But I messaged her and we were talking, and she said that the eclipse right now, everything that is happening is bringing up old wounds to the surface. And I've really felt that in my life this week, just feeling the rawness and the openness of my wounds and allowing myself to walk through that and not numb it or mask it or run away from it, but really to allow myself to feel and let those wounds air out and breathe and explore and get everything I need to and everything I can from the things that have hurt me. You know, Oprah calls the energy or the results of your healing process and the work you're doing when you have trauma, she calls it post-traumatic stress wisdom. And I really believe that trauma can be the greatest gift and blessing of our lives if we are willing to face it fully and head on. And that doesn't mean to shame ourselves. It actually means to explore the feelings of shame we might have and realize that there is no shame necessary, that shame is the opposite of healing. that shame means that we need to give ourselves more grace. So when we're feeling those feelings of insecurity or shame or regret, we need to ask ourselves, what do I need? What do I need more of? And to see ourselves as a little child, we truly are just doing our best. And this version of me that wants to look back with regret and shame on the mistakes that I made needs to understand that I did a lot of healing work through all of those problems and traumatic events and bad mistakes. All of that led to me being a healed and whole enough person to look back and feel these feelings. Because in the moment, I could not see how dysfunctional I was. And to have that post-traumatic stress wisdom and to be able to look back and see the growth is a blessing. It's not easy to feel. Billy loves to give her opinions, huh? Thank you for sharing. We love you. It's not easy to find gratitude in the midst of extreme tragedy and loss. It's not easy for me by any stretch of the imagination to find gratitude for the hard things that have happened to me. But I can see the ways that these tragedies and these difficulties and even my mistakes are shaping me and teaching me and forcing me to go further inward and to explore the deepest, darkest, most difficult parts of my being and to bring light to those dark places. And so there is, I believe everything is neutral, and our consciousness and the way that we look at our perspective, the way that we choose to look at something makes all the difference in the world. Our intention and the energy we put into it. I love the saying, what we starve dies and what we feed grows. Our life is like a garden, and we can choose at any moment what to give our energy and our love to, and what to starve and allow to wither away and become, part of the universe's energy again without weighing us down. And so a lot of these, feelings that I have been experiencing with the loss that I have had of shame and regret and deep, deep sadness and longing and panic and literal physical pain in my body, if I can have enough awareness to observe those feelings happening to me and not feed into them and give them a lot of energy, but allow them to fully pass through, to feel every part of it, and then it's, we're not really, what's the word? It's not like we are raising our vibration. It's not like we are releasing our trauma. It's actually that we are integrating the trauma into our lives. We're accepting it fully. So it's not like we are just letting it go and the memory is gone. We have to be willing to face the memories and to integrate it with the wisdom that we've learned, with the growth that we've gained, with the forgiveness and for the perspective and for the depth that we were able to reach through those hard things. So we're just integrating it and becoming like a tree with bigger and stronger roots that reach farther and wider. All of what we are willing to integrate that has happened to us that is difficult strengthens us and fortifies us. That saying, if it doesn't kill us, it makes us stronger. That's just true. Excuse me, let me wipe my nose. So I've been working on that, working on accepting and loving myself. When you plant a seed in your garden and that seed fails to grow, we don't think, what a lazy seed. What is wrong with the seed? Why aren't you growing? What aren't you doing to make yourself grow? No. Instead, we think, what does this seed need that it is not getting? And we need to be as tender with ourselves as we would be with this little seed. What do you need? Ask yourself, what do I need in order to grow more fully, to heal, to, break through all of this darkness that I'm in? What do I truly need? And give ourselves that love and that care and that stillness and that solitude and the forgiveness that we need and deserve, because the versions of ourselves that made those mistakes has come a long way in order to even see that they were mistakes. So honor yourself, love yourself. I'll try and do the same, I promise. I heard a quote on The Bachelor, of all things. I think it was the Bachelor finale. Yes, it was recently. And it really struck me. And then the next day, my co-mama, Tiff, my children's stepmom, who is amazing, texted the exact same quote from the Bachelor finale. And I thought that was such a beautiful message from Thomas to his mommies. And the quote was, "Grief is love's souvenir." And that has really stuck with me as I have struggled through a lot of heaviness this week. Grief is a result of the deep love that we have for our loved ones that we lost. And so if we didn't have these beautiful, unique relationships that are such a benefit to our lives and that have brought so much joy and goodness and healing and love and laughter into our lives, there really would not be grief. The depth of loss is proportional to the depth of love in that relationship. And so even in grief, I'm working to find gratitude, because it truly is love's souvenir. And I loved that. Thank you, Tiff, for sharing and for helping me feel like, oh my gosh, we truly are loved. Okay, let's get vulnerable. So this has been something I have been thinking about for a really long time, and that is growing out my armpit hair. This is something that is so vulnerable to me, especially because I have always been like very deep into my masculinity and working toward opening up to my femininity in this healing process and journey that I have been on. It was really interesting. A few years ago, one of my dear friends, Tammy, was battling breast cancer, and she had to shave her head, and I decided to shave my head with her. And before that, I had this long, flowy hair, and it was really a part of my identity that was even more significant than I realized when I shaved my head. It was kind of a shock to me and my identity. And for the last few years, I've really been on this journey of trying to figure out, who am I and what do I want as far as my appearance? What appearance for me is an expression, a physical manifestation of my true essence. And as I've thought about, every single time I shave my armpits and I shave everything on my body, including my arms, my toes, my everything, I've thought, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Is my husband going to love me if I stop shaving? Will the world think I'm attractive if I stop shaving? Do I give a fuck if the world thinks I'm attractive if I stop shaving? And it's been the same thing with my hair. Once I shaved my head completely bald, I was either interacted with as, somebody who was sick and looked at with pity by a lot of people when I was out in public, or I was looked at as somebody who was very tough and masculine and who they were maybe a little bit intimidated by or something. It was really different than the interactions I had when I had long, flowy, more feminine looking hair. And so that was such an interesting experience to go through. And as my hair journey changes over and over again, as I try and still figure out what the heck I'm doing with my hair, I see how the world interacts with me different. And it causes me to want to push those boundaries a little further and say, who cares? Why am I not allowing whatever parts of me to grow? Why am I worried about the world judging me or thinking that I'm gross or yucky or whatever because I choose to not shave a part of myself? And for a long time when I was considering this, honestly, I was thinking, if I don't shave my armpits, I can't shave anything. It was like an all or nothing silly thing in my mind, where I realized recently, like, I can shave whatever I want. There are definitely still parts of my body I will want to shave. I might want to shave my legs or whatever. And it's up to me to get to decide that. I asked my husband about how he felt about it, and he was so supportive. He's like, you'll be sexy no matter what you do. And I asked my son, my 10-year-old son, the other night, I said, what would you think, or how would you feel if I let my armpit hair grow out like daddy's? And he said, I don't think armpit is a big deal at all. Why would you even be stressed about armpit hair, or something along those lines? It was so easy for a kid to not care about something so trivial. But I am pushing in my life to really just decide for me and what is best for me, what I do with any part of my life or my body. And that is what I believe we are all called to do, is to figure out what we need to be our happiest, healthiest self, and to be willing to get out of our comfort zone a little bit if there is something that we're doing that we don't necessarily want to do or agree with, but we're doing it for society or for standards that we don't even, necessarily want to subscribe to. So today is the last day. I shaved my armpits this morning. Boop. They're pretty smooth and shaved. And this is the last day. I will be sharing my progress, which is so vulnerable and weird. But I think it's actually really important because I want to inspire other people to get out of their comfort zone and do things that are not traditional, and to ask themselves why they're doing certain things, just because it's important for us to free ourselves from all of these belief systems that we've been taught since birth. This is what a girl looks like. This is what a boy looks like. This is what a girl wears. This is who a girl marries. No, I'm done with it. I've had enough. And so I'm ready for me to, even with my body hair, take it into my own hands and decide what I want. And maybe after growing it out for a while, I'll be like, I prefer it actually shaved. But I'm going to give myself the space and freedom to try it out. And I'm bringing you along with me on the journey, whether you like it or not. And that's that. Okay, in closing, I did want to read Melody Beattie's Journey to the Heart. She has daily affirmations, daily meditations. It's called Daily Meditations on the Path to Freeing Your Soul. And today, March 29th, was about something that has been really heavily on my heart, which is self-forgiveness. This is, I spoke with my best friend, Iggy. She is my soul sister through all the eternities. I love you, Iggy. Shout out to Perfectly Made on TikTok and Instagram. I was crying to her on FaceTime yesterday about missing my son. And I was just feeling so heavy and desperate to bring my baby boy back, and it has been a really difficult time. And I was telling her the regret and the shame and the difficulty that mentally I am going through during this time. And she told me that I need to work toward forgiving myself and that I deserve forgiveness. And that has been something, this tragedy is the absolute most difficult time to try and forgive myself as a mother. This is my worst fear coming true in my life, and it has been something that has been so difficult for me to face and walk through. But I know that Iggy is right. I know that I need to forgive myself for the things that I could have done better, or the things that I wish so desperately I could go back and change. And so this really touched me this morning in my meditation, so I wanted to share it with you today. Move gently into forgiveness. I never knew how much I blamed and hated myself. I never knew how much shame and self-contempt I picked up from situations I'd been through until I really forgave myself and felt how that feels, one woman said to me. Loving yourself, forgiving yourself, accepting yourself. All of these feel different from judging yourself. Many of us have lived with so much judgment of ourselves that we take these feelings for granted. We just think that that's how we're doomed to feel. Until we do forgive ourselves, we don't realize how much we need to, and how good, how great, how absolutely terrific that feels. I was leery of forgiveness for many years. I thought forgiving implied judging, and because judging was wrong and I shouldn't do it, I didn't need to forgive. The problem was, whether right or wrong, I had judged myself, and now I needed forgiveness. Self-judgment set us apart, separate us from the rest of the world in an undesirable way. Forgiving ourselves reconnects us to the world, to God, to ourselves. We can forgive ourselves for what we've done wrong, what we've done badly, and what we think we could have done better. We can transcend our judgments of ourselves, move gently into forgiveness, love, forgive, and accept yourself. See how connected you feel. See how free you really are and always have been. See how much better you feel. I believe that even though it is difficult, it is the most difficult forgiveness to find for me personally is the forgiveness of myself. I have a much easier time having a lot of compassion for the people in my life who have hurt me, but I have a really difficult time finding that same level of compassion for myself, for giving myself the grace to say, hey, you were doing your best and you went through a lot and you have overcome a lot and you are trying your best every day to grow and overcome and be better and take the hard things that have happened and turn them into wisdom and strength and love and healing for others. And so as I work to have a sense of self-forgiveness, I would encourage you to find out where you might still shame yourself, where you might have a hard time looking at yourself with the same compassion as you're able to look at others. I think that's all for me today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for listening. Billy finally calmed herself down, but she sends her love. Do you want to say bye, Bills? Nah, she's good. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day, morning, evening, whenever you're seeing this. I send you all my love. Jesus, Kate sends all her love as well, and namaste.